Hey guys, I'm gonna show you how to create reusable GitHub actions so that you can reference this on other repos of your account. So for example, we're gonna create a Slack notify pull request GitHub action here, and that's pretty global to all repositories, right? So we can create the one single action here on a shared repo, and then the other repos can just reference that. So this is good practice because there's a central place where we can control the Slack notify mechanism, and we can just change that for all repos just from this file, right? Okay, so there are 4 steps to this. The first step is to create a repo for all the shared actions, and the second step is to reference that shared GitHub action on another repo. And the third step is to basically add a Slack internal app so that you can post to your channels. Okay, so we're just gonna copy the token or the webhook URL and then set it as a GitHub secret. And the fourth and final step is to test the setup. Okay, so let's get started. So on GitHub, you can create a similar repo. So I've already made this GitHub -actions repo, and what we need is this .github/workflows folder. So GitHub uses this folder as reference to see all the GitHub actions that you have. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the description, but what this does is basically whenever someone opens a pull request, it will get the repo name and all the details so that it will send a notification to your Slack channel. Okay, so the important thing to note here is this one. So we need to add this as a secret later on, but this is basically the Slack notify GitHub action. So thing worth noting here is that when we're reusing this on another repo, all the details of this repo, or like the context, will be applied here. So whenever we reference the repo name or whatever the event is, it's gonna be from this repo that's referencing it. Okay, so can configure a similar repo as this. So I'm gonna mark that as completed. So the second step is to reference this shared GitHub action on another repo. So let's say we're on this repo, right? So I have this open on a VS Code. So the same thing, we need to have this .github/workflows folder on our root of the repo, and then all we need to do is, for this specific action, is have this job that uses this shared GitHub action. So I already have that here, but the basic repo name, the basic structure is this repo name /GitHub actions, and then this is the repo name. This should be the org name, so whatever your org name is, the repo name, and then the path to your shared action. So this should be whatever name GitHub action name you set. Okay, and then .yaml, and then this will reference the branch that it's gonna get from. So it's gonna be at main. So this is the basic, so you can easily change this. Okay, and we need to set this secrets inherit so that it'll inherit the secrets of this specific repo, so the test repo. So it'll pass the secrets that we set this repo, because the shared GitHub actions don't have references to the secrets. Okay, so this is basically it, and you are referencing the shared GitHub action, and this action will be triggered on pull request. You can change this to however you want, but for this specific one, when we're notifying Slack for new pull requests, it's gonna be triggered by this event. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is you're gonna commit this. Okay. Okay, so we've added this on the repo already. So step number 2 is done. So next step is to add a Slack internal app so that you can copy and then have permission to send notifications on the Slack channel. So what we have to do is we're gonna click on add app, click on add app directory, click on build, and click on your apps. So you can basically create new apps here. I've already created one, which is called PRBot. You can name it whatever you want, and then so it's gonna install on your workspace. Okay, so the important thing here is this one, so we can use incoming webhooks. So let's tick this as enabled, and then we're gonna add a new webhook to the workspace. So let's target general, actually let's target random. Okay, so we have this URL here that we can set as a secret. So you remember the secret that we mentioned here, so we're gonna set this as that. Okay, so this allows us to basically post messages to the Slack channel. So I think the best thing to do here, since this is like a shared global secret, is to add it as an organization secret so that all the repos have access to it. So I've already added that here, but I'm gonna enter a new value. So you see here, and then the value. So okay, let's save changes. Okay, so we already have this set up. So that's pretty neat. So it should now have access to our secret. So third step is done. So all we need to do now is test the setup. Okay, test that here by going to test.js and then basically making a pull request so that we can see and check if the GitHub action is working. So we're gonna add reviewers, because remember our trigger is the review requested event. Okay, so once that's done, it should ideally run the GitHub action. Okay, and then shortly it will notify our Slack channel here. So it failed. So I would be surprised if it ran the first time. No URL specified. So I'm guessing the webhook here is not being used. Oh, damn. Okay, so the problem is when you're in the free plan, you can't use organization secrets. So what we can do is just add the secrets individually on the repos. Okay. So hooks, and then add secret, and then let's try to rerun this job. So the organization secret should work if you have a paid plan on GitHub, but for free plans we have to add the secret on the repo. Okay, so that succeeded, which is good. So it sent a pull request message on our channel, and we can basically just copy this file, and then which just uses the reusable GitHub action, and then post it on another repo. And yeah, that's a pretty good setup, I think. All of the repos will notify Slack whenever a pull request is created, and that's it. That's pretty powerful. I imagine there are multiple actions you can add here, like test the repo, which is applicable to all repos, test linting, and other validation and other reusable GitHub actions that your company needs. Yeah, that ends the video, and this is basically the bonus section. I'm gonna show you how to do the same thing we're doing, specifically for pull request notifications on Slack, but without having to go through all this. Okay, so the app that I'm gonna show you is Pull Notifier. So you can click on Add Apps and search for it on the Slack app marketplace. So it's a Slack verified app, and all you need to do is install it and connect it to your GitHub the same way we did. So hold up, let me just finish. Yep, so we've completed this. So the one I wanted to show you is Pull Notifier. So once we've installed the app, right, we can select a Slack channel here. Let's select this workspace, and then go to General, allow. So it's gonna be connected to your Slack channel now. And so the cool thing is you can map specific repos to specific channels. This is especially useful for large teams. So we've added that. You can see it here. Let's try to create a pull request. So I didn't have to configure GitHub Actions or anything here. It should just automatically detect that a pull request has been opened on our org or repo. Okay, so that's gonna notify this channel. So another cool thing is it's gonna display the actor's GitHub avatar and their GitHub username, so you can clearly see who created that pull request. You can also see the status here, the commit message, and the link here. So that's pretty neat. The most cool and convenient feature that I found was that when you do any changes here, for example, you approve the pull request or you merge or close this pull request, it's gonna update the message on Slack instead of sending a new one. So you can see that it updated this existing message instead of sending a new one. So that's pretty convenient for us, because, and I would say efficient, because it's not spamming our channel with new notifications every time there's an update. So yeah, that's pretty powerful, and I wanted to share and recommend this app to you guys. So yeah, hope you found that useful.